Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm going to read some Reddit things, deathbed confessions. Okay, people who have heard deathbed confessions, what were some interesting ones? Let's see. My grandmother confessed to murder on her deathbed. Usually you'd think it was the pain relief, but she was such an My grandma confessed to murder on her deathbed. Usually you'd think it was the pain relief, but she was an eccentric. It was actually believable. We traced all her ex husbands, partners, and any other likely candidates, and fortunately, no one was missing or died an untimely death. But sometimes I wonder. Maybe she said that as a final way to prank the whole family. That's funny. But not funny that grandma confessed to murder on her deathbed. Who did she murder? Okay, here's one. It's kind of long. This is 4 years ago, by the way. My dad had Alzheimer's and ended up in a secure ward. He was blind and almost deaf. I was visiting him one day. He didn't know who I was, but he started talking about me. He said I had done better than him in life and that he was proud of me. He was a quiet man in real life and never told me that when I was growing up. Looking back, he did things that my dumbass never realized were for me. Like when he retired, his colleagues asked what he'd like as a present. He chose a scientific calculator. This was back in the 70s. He had no use for it. He gave it to me for university. I thought he was just passing it on, not realizing that he'd asked for it with me in mind. How sweet. This isn't a deathbed confession, but I cared for an elderly neighbor who had Alzheimer's, and sometimes she seemed to want to unburden herself of secrets. In the months before she went into a nursing home, I heard a lot about very minor transgressions at work, feuds with other ladies at church, and some cousin effing. Okay. Okay. This one says, I have an amazing one. My great grandmother lived a very long and interesting life. She was in her 20s in the Great Depression. She had a wild streak from those days and started. My great grandmother lived in a very long and interesting life. She was in her 20s in the Great Depression, and she had a wild streak from those days that we don't know much about, to the point that we actually don't know our great grandfather's name, just the husband she took later. Over the course of her nearly 100-year life, she had collected owls, literally thousands of owl figurines. She had clocks, wall hangings, pot holders, lamps, stained glass art, salt shakers, and more little figurines than you could imagine, all depicting owls. We all wondered the importance of the owls, and she never talked about them. We all just knew she loved them. Well, when she was nearing death at the age of 98 or 99, and the docs said she had a daze, my grandparents went and talked to her and they asked her if she had anything she wanted to share or ask before she goes. And she thought for a moment and then said, I never understood the owls. I can pause it. It turns out she didn't really give a shit about the owls. Near as we could. What? What? Okay, this says near, Near, but I don't know what they mean. Near as we could piece together sometime in the 40s or 50s, perhaps, she bought either a trivet or a set of salt and pepper shakers that were owls. Then someone got her the other. Those were the oldest owls anyone could remember. But from there, someone had got her an owl to match, probably a pot holder or placemat, and all of the sudden, her kitchen was owl themed. Oh, I get it. So, like, she just got a gift that was an owl. She probably had it hanging up, and then people saw it, and they're like, "Oh, she loves owls." So, every gift she got from then on out was probably something to do with an owl. Those were the oldest owls anyone could remember, but from there, someone got her an owl to match, probably a pot hoarder placemat. I already read that. From there, it snowballed. The owls flowed like wine, baffling her for 60 years, eventually taking over as the bulk of her personal belongings. The moral is, if you're not actually into something, mention it early. That's too funny. Oh, okay. My parents' grandfather never spoke about his World War II experience. My parents' grandfather never spoke about his World War II service. We are Australian. He joined after lying about his name and age, so we can't find any records. He would have been 16. My papa did that too. We do know he was in the Pacific somewhere, and when he got back, his lie was exposed, and because he was by then 18, he was drafted under his real name and promptly arrested. he would do anything to get he would do anything not to get sent back to fight. He got drunk, fought, and self harmed. His adult life was spent mostly as an alcoholic and being a shit husband and father, though in his later years he was able to make some good grandkids appearing softened him. Oh, okay. So he was an a hole, an alcoholic, and all that. And then he had grandkids, and he was like, oh, I'm a nice guy now. In his dying hours, he relived his time at war. Some things he said, oh God, they are here. The Japs are behind us, sir. Stab him, effing stab, stick him, help, medic, all around. And he also had a string of names he kept saying, just such a tortured, broken mind. This comment says it's awful what men went through in World War One and Two and any war, really, and I agree. My mom says that on his deathbed, my granddad said he could see his men. He worked, I think, the radio on the airplanes, and I think he was leader of his particular group that flew the plane. One day, they were shot down and crashed. All died in the fire but him. They found him wandering delirious in the field after, and they've tried to make him go back up in another plane, and he lost it. Full on PTSD. The bastard dishonorably discharged him because he refused to fly again. He said he said he saw his men staring at him at the foot of the bed and that they were furious with him for not saving them. My mom says he used to scream in the night with the nightmares. Hmm. Okay, here's another one. When I was in the hospital, the guy in the bed next to me just asked to stop taking his meds as he was ready to die. Last thing I heard him say was, there's no one waiting for me at home, so I'm going where they are. Wasn't really a shocking confession, just a lonely and heartbreaking one. Yeah. Oh, this one says, my time to shine. We're getting close to 10 minutes, so I'll wrap it up after this. Um, my time to shine. I worked at a hospital in Garmisch-Partenkirchen. I'll put it on the screen. A small town near Munich for the last 14 years. My job there is not fancy at all. I move people around, throw the trash out, and occasionally I take care of some handy like work, like fixing a leak in a shower or whatever. As you can imagine, I get to see a lot of patients that come and go, and some of them pass away. Such is life, I guess. I remember a few instances of people confessing to me their biggest regrets, and here are some examples. 1. An old Polish woman told me that she regretted not effing Hitler when she had the chance. Those are her words. I wanted to ask her about more context, but I was afraid she'd be honest. Oh, scratch that. An old Polish woman told me that she regretted not effing Hitler. Not effing Hitler. Not screwing Hitler, is what I'm saying. That's that's her deathbed confession. She regrets not effing Hitler when she had the chance. I'm sorry, excuse me, man. When did you have the chance? Do you know Hitler? Anyway, I wanted to ask her more about this context, but I was afraid. To be honest, I would be too. Another notable example was an old truck driver that used to work for an Easter Germany company, and he told me that he once ran over some kinds. Wait, another notable example was an old truck driver that used to work for an Easter Germany company. He told me that he once ran over some kids with his truck that was too afraid to stop and check if they were okay. Some confessions should just be kept to yourself, I think. Once another Polish lady told me that she used to be a prostitute during Second World War and that she slept with very high up people in the government. She told me that she did not regret that part of her life, but that she could not tell anyone, and that was a heavy emotional drag. She also told me that she aborted more than 5 babies during that time. So you can avoid that. You can avoid having to abort. That is all I will say. Someone said the two Polish ladies are the same woman from parallel universes where they made their different choices. Yes, I believe that too. They have to be. Okay, that's enough for right now. I might come back later with a few more because there are some good ones on there. Okay. I'm not sure how I'm going to edit this because CapCut is gone. So I'm probably just going to post this like it is. I apologize for the mistakes, but I hope you enjoy, and I will be trying to do this daily, if not every other day, just to keep it going because this is fun to me. I love doing this and I love chatting with you guys. I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Don't forget to get some sunshine if you can. Take vitamin D if you can't, and drink your water, and give yourself some self-love every day. Taking a bubble bath is not self-love. Self-love is making the right choices, doing the right thing, taking accountability, and going to the doctor, stuff like that. That's how you take care of yourself. A bubble bath ain't gonna help, okay? It helps, but it's not self-care. That's hygiene. So you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll speak with you later.